time that we're recording this, what's going on right now, I think we're learning a little bit more every single day about what's going on. And I had my Eagles gear on because 8 years ago, Nick Foles brought us our first Super Bowl championship ever. And we built a statue for him. Thank you to Doug Peterson. Thank you to everyone that was involved with that. 8 years ago today. And then today we get the news that Jeff Stoutland, who has been a big part of the Eagles' offensive line success throughout the years. Today we get the news that Jeff Stoutland says, you know what, I'm just going to walk away from coaching. Doesn't mean that he can't be another coach somewhere else, but he said he's just walking away from coaching. Now, after doing some research and looking up exactly, trying to figure out why suddenly is Jeff Stoutland leaving. Well, first of all, I don't know, and I hate to say it. But I don't know what's going on. I just dropped my mic here. I don't need it anyway. I don't know what's going on with the Eagles front office. I know that there is a power struggle. I'm not an insider. I can't say whether I know directly that there's a power struggle, but I know that since Howie Roseman, when he lost control during the shit Kelly era, Howie Roseman has been very, along with Jeffrey Lurie, careful about who they pick as head coach. I mean, I still think to this day Nick is just a pawn for the most part. I mean, I think that was said was said pretty much during that press conference when they said, what do you exactly do if you're not calling offensive plays? He says, I'm the head coach. Okay. And we've heard about the rumors that Big Dom has to hold him back when he gets too much into the players' faces. But this says a lot, because what I've learned and what I have now, been told was that Jeff Stoutland was removed. He had his run game duties, the run game. He had that revoked during the season by Kevin Petullo and Nick Sirianni. Look, that's crazy to me. That's like going into your job and being like, well, it's not, once again, the blame game is across the board, it seems like, here in the NFL now. So he gets his run game calling ability, play calling ability, taken away from him because Kevin Petullo stinks at his job. He stinks. He's ass. So Sirianni once again gets it wrong. And once again, I am all for upward mobility and upward promoting within the organization. But the fact of the matter is this is wild that Jeff Stoutland, the hungry dogs run faster. Jeff Stoutland gets his duties removed because some guy doesn't know how to call plays. Now that guy's not there anymore, and Jeff's like, you know what? And rightfully so, he just says, F it. I don't want to do this no more. If you're gonna just remove things like that from me, that's cool. I don't need to do this anymore. And then we have, on the same day, remember, this is 8 years removed from the Super Bowl that we won with Nick Foles. This is 8 years removed. Then we have Vic Fangio today, as of this recording, February 4th. Vic Fangio was rumored, and still is sort of rumored. They said he's coming back, but he's kind of on a year-to-year basis. Fangio was about to say, I'm pretty much done too. Now, like I said, there is definitely something going on in the building, something in the air in the building. I know that it's Philadelphia. I know that we like to, say things and, stir up a problem where there is no problem. But where there's smoke, there's fire, and there's definitely some sort of fire going on in that building right now that they're trying to smolder out by hiring Sean Mannion. You have that rumor, maybe if we get Sean Mannion in here, we can still keep A.J. Brown because he's, going to run a whole different type of system. That's positive. That's positive looking. But once again, hasn't called any plays before. And I think that honestly, everybody, Fangio had to carry basically the team last year. The defense and Fangio's defense had to carry the team last year. And there's only so long that you can do that. There's only so much you can do for that. But I digress. Where there's smoke, there is fire, and having heard that Jeff Stoutland, who I think the entire league, that's a guy that could get a job right away, say, I don't want to do it no more, is astounding. And there's definitely something behind it. I know people are going to say, don't read into it too much, but there's definitely a reason. Jeff just suddenly up and is like, yeah, you know what, I'm not doing this. It's wild. And especially it's wild that Kevin Patullo and Nick Sirianni, this puts Nick Sirianni in my mind on the hot seat this season. Oh, it definitely does. Definitely puts him on that. I'm the head coach. What do you exactly do? I'm the head coach. Okay. Right. What do you do? You don't call plays, clearly. And you promote your best buddies and ruin an entire season. It didn't have to be this bad this season. It didn't have to be this bad this season, but once again, anytime Sirianni gets involved with something, it seems to go awry. When it comes to Brian Johnson, offensive, promoted from within, terrible offensive coordinator. And then you got Kevin Patullo. God. And now you have Sean Mannion, who has never called plays before. Never called plays, but Howie and Jeffrey Lurie were very much involved in this decision for the hiring. I'm skeptical, but I have a little bit more faith in it. I'm hoping, especially with the play calling. It doesn't look like it's Madden 2025, 2026. I have a lot of faith in this, but the last thing I just want to say is that when you're seeing Jeff Stoutland, a guy who gets ripped his run play calling, and then you see a questionable hire from somebody who hasn't called plays before, again, it starts to make you wonder what's going on. And I'm telling you, if Nick Sirianni is not on a short leash this year, if he is not on a short leash, and we're going to go and do this whole let's see if it works concept again, he's got to be because I'm not putting up with that, and I don't think fans want to put up with that. And I'm really mad that we put up with that this year. At any point in time, we could have literally gotten rid of Kevin Patullo, and I still think that I don't care who was out there or who wasn't out there. I still think we would have been better. We basically just said, okay, we're going to let the defense carry, and we're just going to eat it this year. And that's crazy to me. That's wild. And I knew it. We all knew it. We all knew it. We basically just said, yeah, you know what? Kevin deserves a job because he's big buds, big friends with Nick. Don't let your friends, sometimes your friends aren't always the best people for the job. That's all I gotta say about that. I could go a little bit more in. I'll definitely go in a little bit more. I'm a little biased because I'm an Eagles fan, as you guys know. But at the same time, this is something is brewing. And the Eagles are trying to be like, no, don't worry, I'll knock it down. But Jeff, Mr. Stoutland, thank you so much. Thank you so much. As somebody who really appreciates coaching and stuff, there would be nobody else I would rather play for if I was on the offensive line than you. So thank you so much for all of the great seasons, all of the great motivation that you've done, and the development of not only Jason Kelsey, but all the rest of the other linemen that have come around that time. Thank you so much, and you really will be missed.